Hey everybody, I'm Jason and this is Inside Board Games. Today we are talking to Jason and Joel from MadRoc Games. Hey guys,
Hey, glad to talk to you.
we're going to be talking about Tarot Quest and some other things because I know that your website has a few offerings on there. So we're going to be talking about how they kind of interplay and work with each other. How you guys doing today? You guys doing all right?
Yeah, real good.
Yeah. Where are you guys at? You guys in the same like cities, time zone, or
We're
else?
about 45 minutes away from each other. He's in Baltimore. I'm closer to Annapolis, but we're both in Maryland.
Oh, okay, cool. How's the weather over there? I just say that because I
Uh,
thought that I saw you guys have been getting some like nasty stuff.
Yeah, there was a tornado that ripped through my town yesterday, so that was no
Oh,
fun.
yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Hope you guys are all right.
Yeah, no. It's stayed far enough away from me that we're in good shape.
Okay. How's the board game scene in the Maryland area, Annapolis? I mean, is there, like a lot of like board game cafes, any little, mini conventions, things like that?
I haven't run into too many mini conventions. There's a couple of stores, a couple of real good stores that have a big community, a lot of magic, but role playing games and everything else. I
Mhm.
think there was one or two more that I was really excited about, but COVID kind of made it so that they changed the way they were doing things.
Oh,
So
okay.
you go into Virginia, Northern Virginia, they have some cafes down there I've gone to. What about Joel up in your
yeah,
area?
so traditionally, this area, being close to DC, has a lot of people involved in that type of thinking, game theory kind of thing. So a
Okay.
lot of gamers in the area, Northern Virginia, Maryland. And actually, we found out when we went to Origins that Origins got started in Maryland from Johns Hopkins. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So
Really?
a lot of the universities and they'll have little gaming groups and stuff. So yeah, there's a big gaming community, but it's spread over all different genres.
It's
A lot of
interesting.
creatives.
Oh, okay. It's interesting that you mentioned that about the game theory being in that area because I have talked to
Mhm.
someone who has done stuff with the, Department of Defense, using games for
Mhm.
stuff that DoD does. So it's interesting. A great topic that I'd love to get into and maybe another time. But what I really want to talk about is your game. We're
Yeah.
going to talk about Tarot Quest. Before though, what are your guys' background? Like, are you sort of designers by trade? Did you go to art school? What's your background? Let's start with Jason.
Well, I had no background in this whatsoever. I came about it from understanding the tarot aspect. I studied tarot for a while. I studied a lot of other esoteric belief systems, stuff like that. I played games, quite a few games over the years, from card games or role playing games back since AD&D was king. And so, I mean, many years of being involved in that community, but as far as making a game, that I hadn't done any of that before.
Okay. Joel, he just scored 2 points with his answer. So you got some ground to make up here in this our interview competition.
Well, my background actually, I have a degree in art. It happens to be
Okay.
sculpture, but I go across multiple disciplines, oil painting, drawing, many different things, lots and lots of hobbies. I met Jason through gaming, and we both love many different types of games. I like also wargaming, and I
Hmm.
do a lot of hobby things. And we just both sort of wanted to do something during the COVID shutdown, and neither one of us made games before, but we just compiled our everything we knew, everything we liked, and we just tried to make the best thing we could make with the topic we're given. So,
So
And
with a background in sculpture, do you find yourself drawn to games with miniatures? Uh,
oh, very much. Yeah, I had a plastic miniature addiction for a while. But yeah, I love all that stuff. I love model trains.
oh, cool.
Anything visual, crafting, creativity. Anyone that's in art knows that an artist has to make art. It just they're compelled to. It doesn't
Yes.
matter what the format is; they'll find a way to create. And this is Jason and my little baby. This creation, this we've made, and man, a huge learning curve. I had to learn a lot of things about tarot and astrology to catch up, to understand the significance of it, and do justice to it. Not to, we're not,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, he's being humble about his miniatures. He's a wizard when it comes to making minis and making them look accurate to what you want to look at. So that was
Nice.
really fun times playing those games. We wanted something more that was our own, kind of contribution too. So
Hmm.
this was what we came up with.
So, Jason, I'm guessing you kind of as the founder of this company, was it sort of your inspiration to have the game? You said you have a background in tarot.
Mhm.
So is that sort of where you, I mean, obviously, I'm guessing is where you got your inspiration for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the game was built on the basis of tarot, and if you look at the name of it, it's Taro with the T on the end. The quest is inside the tarot. We have designed it
Okay.
in a way that you would feel like you were going through the cards. So it's not just you throw out the ace of uh, wands, and it just means that it's going to mean what the aces are. The we are bringing in what those mean to that. So that was the key in designing it, was coming up with the nuts and bolts of it, but then also, hey, how am I going to integrate what the cards mean to make it work? And that was a lot of play
Mhm.
testing.
I can imagine. Give me a little bit of background on tarot. Pretty basically what I know about tarot cards comes from that James Bond movie and like an episode of The Simpsons. So I mean, I'm aware of tarot, but I'm really not that knowledgeable about like its background and history and and things like that. And if you could take me through some of that, um, I think it
Sure.
would be fascinating.
Well, it's interesting that the tarot card has been around since the 1400s, and they started out as games. And there's still a
Okay.
couple of games that may or may not be played today. Probably not as exciting as most people do. Precursors to Rummy and things like that.
Okay.
In Europe, and somewhere 1800s, they really started getting used more for divination, and people were
Right.
using it for fortune telling and that kind of thing, because they're really primal force energies that you're working with. So the energy of that, you've got the regular energies, and they're going to be a lot similar to your 52 cards that you're used to, except instead of spades, you have wands. But then there's the major arcana, which are supposed to be more otherworldly things, and so again, people are using them for divination, but also they've been used for gaming before, and they set up a perfect, in the way that we designed it, is a little bit of a journey through life.
Okay, let's dive into the game and kind of take me through it. Talk about it. We'll put up some, put up some images of the game as we go along. So yeah, what can people expect when they play Tarot Quest?
All right, so it's for 2 to 4 players.
There you go.
2 players competitively, obviously. With a 4-player game, you can play as a partner, which we feel is the best, because you're not only trying to keep your opponent from winning, trying to win yourself, but also um, helping out your partner. So some might think of it in some ways where you're playing a card game. It is cards, it's 78 cards. We're using a game mat cloth that we're calling it. It is based on the 7 energy centers, we're calling them, based on the 7 chakras.
Hmm.
And your goal is to complete these 7 centers. And you're trying to do it in the best possible way so that you are moving through better than your partner, or better than your opponent. So the first person to match that, have an appropriate number of points that you get, is going to be the victor. So, and that's what you use is determined on your avatars. The avatars are based on astrology. Most people probably know what their astrology sign is. You don't have to play that, but they're going to, each one of them is going to be a little bit different.
Okay, now when I played the game, I did play the game at Origins, and I had a lot of fun. I'm not. I mean, our YouTube channel is there's three of us, so we're always playing like three-player games. Sometimes we're bringing four. We don't do too many two-player games, and not that many competitive games. So I mean, to me, it's kind of personally noteworthy that I enjoyed myself playing a two-player competitive game, which is not really in my kind of wheelhouse, so to speak. And I am a fan of, mysticism, and I'm curious about, all things, the occult and anything that's a little bit different. I love that. Don't know too much about tarot, like I said, but I didn't need to enjoy the game.
Right.
It still had a good time, and Joel was did good with the teach, but you don't have to know all that to play the game
And
and
the
enjoy it.
game can be played as a 3-player game, and so that's not all games can do that. And
Yeah.
the principles of the game, you enjoyed playing it because although it was competitive, it's not cutthroat. You can play it very nice if you want. You can, in a way, cooperate and try to help your opponent
Hmm.
equally. You don't have to. You can play cutthroat if you want, but because the game involves a sort of karmic understanding, there's that kind of thing going through the game itself, and you can play it however you want. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of ups and downs, but still being very balanced. You can feel like you're losing, but then you can get that card and just come right back and get really close games. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the game that I won, I was ahead, but Bob was coming on quick. That was yeah, I feel like I just barely won.
Yeah, one of the things I was really excited to do in the game and insisted on was making a game that you weren't guaranteed to lose right from the start. And I've seen that about too many strategy card games where somebody just has a better deck than you, or has a superior strategy, or just has too much luck, and there's nothing you can do to win. And there are a lot of ways in this game where you can have swings.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen that way, but there was a couple games we had just that same day you there where we had major swings where someone was about to win and boom, all of a sudden flipped completely because they played the right card at the right time. And those are the great moments I love watching, that people like seeing. People obviously don't like losing, but it might be your turn next time to get that. And
Mhm.
we built enough cards in there that are kind of normal, and then other ones that are exciting. And a lot of times with the major arcana, you're going to see some really game changing cards.
Yeah, I can see that the game could be played, kind of cooperatively just
Mm-hmm.
for the beauty of the game. Me and my friends are just cutthroat. There's never any beauty or if it's competitive, it's pretty cutthroat. We'll play games, we played some other games at other conventions where the designer, we're like, "Hey, can you do this?" Like this really mean-spirited thing, and they're like, "Well, yeah, but why would you want to?" And it's like, "Okay, we can do it good." Urgh.
Well, yeah, everybody likes a little trash talking once in a while, and you can still do
Yeah.
that.
And that's the beauty of a game. A game is a simulation to allow you to try things that maybe you shouldn't do in reality. But this game lets you do conflict. It lets you cooperate. It lets you tell stories, and it's little things that happen, and they're memorable moments where someone will be fighting over this one card, and the other opponent gets it. And they keep trying to get it back, and hilarious. Like, why are you so obsessed with that card? But people do. It's fun.
It's red. I want it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. One of the things that really kept me going through this process, because Joe and I've been working on this for several years, was that people who played the game were play testers, kept calling me to play again, and they wanted to talk about those experiences. Oh, I remember that time that you said this and I did this, and I liked those moments, and
Yeah.
I don't really get as many of those moments with a lot of the games I played. So that was really something encouraging me, because one thing we didn't talk about is artwork. We custom designed all of this art. We got 12 artists across the world,
Oh,
um,
okay.
and we built these from scratch. None of these are AI. None of these are just computer. They were all painted in some sort of way, which is the traditional tarot way. We wanted to do things the right way, and that's where Joel's art direction really came in, because we we had a lot of struggle. Each one of these cards has a story from us in there on what it took to get it made, as far as just the artwork alone.
All our artists get commissions based on our sales. So it's very important to us
Mm,
because we were demanding so much from them for the amount that we were paying. We did pay them,
mm,
but wow, we got such amazing artwork for, and the technicalities involved with getting all the aspects and meaning of the card in a
mm.
fresh new perspective was really challenging. I had to really go to school on learning these things so I could coach them through, and Jason was excellent on giving feedback on which way to go, but some of them were a real struggle, and we got there. And it's so nice to see them and see them played where the meaning of the card, the way it's played, reflects the in the game. And again, with all this storytelling possibility you can have, it makes people remember when like Death card was played on them, or the Devil, or
Uh-huh.
the Tower. They're so iconic, and then they'll know what that means when the Tower happens and all your plans are blown up. It's exciting. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of the artwork, and I mean, it is really interesting. It's sort of realistic people, but surrealistic
There are 12 artists from around
surrounding.
the world, and
And
there are many different styles.
yeah, and I
Mm-hmm.
really like all the different styles they have. And I'm really glad that you brought that up because it's something that I like to talk about when I do these. You know, AI can be kind of a hot button issue, especially with smaller independent game developers, you know, because some of them, you know, they're like, oh, I wish that we could pay people, but we just can't. And if my game's going to get out there, you know, I have to use, you know, the tools that I can. But then there's a lot of people that just feel very, very strongly that, you know, it's goes against the heart of gaming and the heart of art and creation to, you know, use AI. And so it's really cool that you guys have 12 people with 12 different art styles, you
Yeah.
know, that are real people, you know, making this beautiful game.
AI artwork is a great tool, and it's I understand why it's used, but um, it was very important for us to have real artists talking through this, coming up with actual artwork, and it was worth it. It did cost money to do that, but that was important. And
Yeah.
part of the design, we need to have something unique. You can't copyright rules, but you can copyright a design. And we're going to go through years of playtesting and doing this. We want to make something that's worth it. And now, I'm not saying that AI artwork can't grab an audience, because it can. It can look real exciting. But for us, we like a certain aesthetic. And so we made it to what we like. And we feel that other people, that artwork will resonate with them as well. And it'll bring them in, and they'll get to see, like, wow, this is all this new thing. But yeah, it was a journey. It was a lot of hard work, but I feel it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. My personal views on AI, you know, because there's a lot of it used in my, you know, my professional life sort of outside of board gaming. And, you know, I'm personally not a fan of the uses that I see
Mhm.
because I see it as kind of in the uses that I see, it's pure laziness. Um,
It
and
doesn't
I
provide any
don't,
credit either. It
yeah, and
just takes it.
I don't want to imply that I'm saying that if someone's using AI to design their board games, they're being lazy. But I think that it is harder to do it, you
It
know,
is.
coming
And
from yourself or to find an artist. But I think that I don't know, you know, it's you know, especially with art, it just
I
seems
see
like
both sides of it.
yeah,
Honestly, I would say that this explosion of AI artwork has made, or hopefully will make, people more understanding of all the things that go into making artwork, and can raise their awareness and their ability to observe what good artwork is. Because there's a lot of artwork that's so good. That's my opinion. Everyone has their opinion, but um, AI artwork can do it in a minute. And
yeah,
when you see all this stuff, you start to be able to observe things in higher detail, and say, I like this, and then understand why you like that. Why does some of the AI artwork all look the same? Well, there are certain aesthetics that they're applying. And if
Yeah.
you notice it, but you don't understand it, then you can start understanding, go, oh, that's because they're all doing this. When everyone does this, it all looks the same. How does anyone stand out?
Yeah,
So,
I have no problem with AI designing a circuit board or something, or AI designing a computer network, or AI diagnosing, an illness or something. But I like my art coming from the heart, So it just
mhm.
yeah, just sort of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, we could have done this project a lot quicker and a
A
lot
whole lot
cheaper.
quicker.
And if we had just done some of those things, and if we were guys who churned out game after game, maybe sometimes similar, maybe a little bit different, we would have, who knows what we'd have done. But we were two guys who were dedicated towards this particular project. It wasn't about, hey, we need to throw this out there so that we can get something else in the market. We were like, hey, we needed to make something that was a lot of us and something that we thought was really, valuable.
Yeah,
Not fun to play, good to look at. Just an enjoyable all around product, and that was our goal. Not to flood the market with our product. Not that we don't want everybody playing the game,
right.
but that wasn't what we set out to do. So having great artwork. I wasn't going to make a deck. I wouldn't read with. That was my, and there's a lot of rich symbolism that was put into there. And in some ways, I feel like there's, superior to some of the decks that I've seen. And in some ways, I think other ones are more iconic. But we tried to improve or make something really good with each one of them. Even the cards that when people usually do tarot decks, they kind of, we're not too worried about that. We're just gonna no, we wanted those to be good too.
Yeah, and you don't have a 52-page rule book. It's not
No,
like there's, you have the bandwidth to,
very, not much. Very
yeah.
easy.
I mean, even your rule book looks really pretty. So, you didn't have to use so much of your mental bandwidth to come up with rules and mechanics. So you're, kind of were able to explore more on the art side. That's the impression
Once you
I
play
get.
it one time, many of the cards you'll know how they work. All the rules are on the cards. Some of the explanation in the rule book gets into technicalities,
Okay.
but the more you play the game, the more you'll remember all the rules. And some people are used to magic cards, which they have very detailed rules.
Um,
These, once you play it, people will be able to have all this stuff memorized. There's a few that are complicated, but mostly they make sense with the meaning of the card.
mhm.
And once you've seen it played, maybe once or twice, you'll remember how it is. All the kings are attack cards. All the
Oh,
aces
right.
do multiple things. All the jacks are protections against attacks. All the queens boost the point value of a card that's been energized or balanced, as we call it. So once you like, those are examples and
Hmm.
other things. And we hope that the game will be a success so that we can issue new editions with new artwork and then get to the reverse meaning of the deck, which will be a hardcore, more exciting. Oh, it's both exciting, but it's the reverse meaning. But we need to get this one out. This is the first one,
Hmm.
and hopefully our audience will find us. We feel like we've made an excellent game, and but it's very new. And so once people see it, I think they will have a lot of fun playing it.
For sure.
Yeah, with a reverse deck, it'll allow us to swap cards in and out. So you can make a more.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you've got a 78 card deck that's going to stay the same, and we have we're looking at it in expansion to come out with some artwork, possibly to change those up. But with a reverse deck, it would be a lot different with the same mechanics. So you can very much personalize and change it the game to give it. Again, right now each game is pretty different, but that would make it even that much more. And those guys who really want to have those power situations come up can try to tailor that to make it happen.
Okay.
But all when we commissioned the artwork for that deck, that's a whole pile of money that we need to pay artists, and that's part of the deal. So we need to make this
Yeah.
one work. People, our audience, to find us. We
Hmm.
do think there is an audience out there, but it is so new. Now that's an advantage. If they find us and it's great, then we're the first. But we'll
Hmm.
see. our audience needs to find our product. When they do, when they play the game, as Jason said, his playtesters call him and want to know when can we play again. And they think about it, they dream about it. They wake up in the morning and they're like, "Oh wow, I remember that guy put Death Guard
Every
on me,
morning
that
waking up.
bastard." Some of them, yeah. But it's a fun game, and since it's randomized, it's never the same.
Yeah, a lot of
There is definitely
repeatability.
strategy that you can learn and you can become very good. And I'm sure there will be people in the future that are so good they'll just smash Jason and myself. But we'd love
I
that.
look
We'd
forward to
love
it.
that.
I'm looking at some of the other things on your website. You have the talk about the Golden Lotus,
Mhm.
and you have a bundle on there. Is that
So
go ahead?
so we decided to make it a tarot deck on its own as well. We hadn't originally decided to do that. We
Mhm.
started out the game, make it a game. But after we saw the artwork and that together, we thought, hey, this would be great to have as a deck as well. So we have that available right now. We're discussing making larger cards in the future. Right now, we have, typical size cards. What else we were working
Poker
on
size.
because
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
poker. Because we are gamers, we decided, and I really kind of forced this on Joel, so you can blame me if it's not good. But we did a role playing game supplement. In the making of this card game, we came up with a couple other variations on the game, so we threw those in there, and those are really quicker versions using the same cards. If you're an RPG guy
Hmm.
and you want to play a scene in a tavern where your guys are actually playing cards. You can use our cards. There's two different games in there that you can use for that. We have a couple other things where you can use to get some quick reactions from monsters or NPCs, or even use it to create your own campaign.
Yeah, interesting.
And we added it up with some magic items because everybody loves magic items.
Yeah.
One for each of those cards, which definitely wasn't an easy task. There's a lot of information there. It's set as D&D 5th edition right now. I would consider doing other games for that part, but again, I want to see if people are interested first for that.
Yeah. Got to have your +5 boots of sneaking. That's for I
Yeah.
love those magic items.
Yes.
Um, so how different is the game now from when you did your first prototype? Like how many iterations did it go through? Or I mean, were you kind of, straight on with your vision?
I can talk about that. That's the design thing. The rules was pretty much all Jason, and he really nailed it from the beginning. There were
Okay.
some tweaks here and there, and maybe some rules that swapped cards to make them more appropriate for the card. But then there was a lot of design changes, and that's just a matter of having people play it, and are they being able to understand what they're seeing. If there are maybe too many colors, at first I had like a rainbow thing going on. It was way
Okay.
too much stuff. I don't remember how many design versions, probably um, 5 or 6 major changes with some minor ones in between. I don't remember
Okay.
how many variations, but um, we would playtest it over. Jason and his group of playtesters would playtest and get back to me, and I would try to figure out how to incorporate what needs to happen. We ran into some people who are colorblind, and I had thought about
Okay.
that, but
Hmm.
for instance, all those colors, they can't see them now, so I made sure to have their words are there too. So a sword card is a purple card, but if you can't see purple, how are you going to know? Well, it says swords, or other things. So we'd listen to those things, and if there was something missing, we would try to add it so that it wouldn't be confusing.
Okay. It's interesting that you bring up the colorblind thing because to be honest, I'm always curious, but I kind of chicken out sometimes when I'm talking to, because a lot of these designers I know, um, it's a struggle. It's difficult, and there's a million things that an independent game designer, has to do. And the last thing I want to do is point out, but did you think of this? And they're like, oh my God, give me a break.
They
So,
need to know that. I would say go ahead and point it out. And we've had that happen where we were, oh, I didn't see that. And you know what? If we're a success, We can always come up with revisions. There are always revisions, little things that slip through the crack. And in really big games where I collected Magic for a while, I
Hmm.
think the first three editions of the first version, they didn't have the artist name correct. Now, does that affect gameplay? No, it doesn't. But they had thousands and thousands and thousands of printed cards.
Yeah.
This artist name isn't correct. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but
I
they had
mean,
a lot more artists in their defense. So
so I mean, good on you guys for, thinking inclusion for people that might be colorblind. It looks like, I don't know if it was a conscious decision or
there's a
not, but
lot
it
of,
looks like there's a lot of diversity too in the cards, and just I guess when you have 12 different designers, you're going to get a broad range, which I think is great because, now you have a broader range of people that, pick up the cards and, see themselves in it and, makes them more vested in the game.
I'll give you a little insight into that. And our process with them is that we ask them to give us, roughly about four rough sketches of different ideas on what directions they want to go. And
Hmm.
some of them took a lot more than that. Some of them nailed it right off the bat. But we went with whatever looked the best. And, certain cards that diversity, inclusion and stuff, either the artist flat out said, I want to do this, or gave us the best variation of it. And we were like, that's great. Go with that because it's the best, and we
Hmm.
want you to give your best into this. And if that's what you want to work with, then that's it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there wasn't anything that was there. There might have been one or two that was a little too brutal that we were like,
Okay.
oh man, for some of the rough cards.
Yeah.
But other than that, we were like, if this is the direction you want to go with. So yeah, I mean, we did make sure that groups that traditionally aren't welcomed into Row are shown. And a lot of that was mostly the artist's choices, but we were happy to allow that to happen.
And that's the perfect way for it to happen. And that's the
mhm.
beauty of art and people making art is that you didn't have to give that direction, that, oh, we need to
Yeah,
see, this, and this. You said, hey, do your best. And they came up with their best. And it came up with something that, had diversity and there's, inclusion and, all kinds of
we
different.
showed them the sort of gold standard, which is the Pamela Coleman Smith artwork for the Rider Waite Tarot. That's
Okay.
sort of everybody knows that the standard,
Okay.
and we showed them that, and we said, "This is what we're going off of as a start, but we want you to think about these themes and show us what you got." And they would many times want to do something pretty different from that, and we love that so long as it gets all the symbolism, which there is a lot of symbolism. We would say go for it, and there were very few things that were you know we I don't think there really was any, because these topics are universal topics.
Yeah.
They affect all people, and we want all people to know about these things and have fun and learn about them. And this, it really, I mean, tarot and astrology are, in a way, if you know about these things, they're like cheat codes to life, you could kind of say.
Yeah.
They allow you to see into things, understand stereotypes, where stereotypes begin and where they end, how you could fit into them, how others fit into them, and all these exciting things. When you see something happen, you remember, oh, I don't know why that happened, or maybe I have an idea. Maybe I don't have to do that again because I didn't like that. Those kind
Right.
of amazing things that can happen. People can move on, grow larger, whatever, more success, whatever they want to do. These topics are exciting. They're ancient, and we're very careful to respect those traditions and meanings.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you're doing it right. I mean, you're treating your artists right, that's for sure. And when you treat artists right, they treat you right.
Mm-hmm.
You're respecting something that's been around for a long time. You're not exploiting it. You're kind of
And I
bring
don't claim
it.
to fully understand it. So if there's things there and I don't know why, I say, well, make sure that's there because I don't know why that's there, but it's important because it's always there.
I look forward to people healthfully debating it, saying, I don't think this card means exactly what the game is. And hey, I'll look forward to that because that means somebody really knows their stuff, and they're willing to discuss it. And,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of ways to try and make that work in
A
there.
future edition. Man, if we could
Mhm.
polish this to be perfection somehow, which I don't, it's not really possible. Awesome. Awesome. If it leads to everyone understanding everybody else and getting along and having a great time. Awesome. So yeah.
So what's um we're going to be kind of wrapping here a little bit in a little bit, but I'm wondering what is kind of next for you guys. Another edition of the game, a different part, or are you just kind of focusing on, marketing and getting out, what you got right now?
So we have a computer version of the game that we've had guys working on.
Okay.
So that one should be on there for iPhone and Android that people can play the game. We're hoping that was going to help people more interested in the game, and maybe people end up enjoying that more than the physical game. That's fine too. We like the sitting around a table aspect because we're
Hmm.
old school. The in the same room playing, and but for other people, they'd rather play with somebody across the country on their phone, and you can do that too. So that's one thing that they're getting close. They're getting close to finishing that, and hopefully that'll be done soon. The other versions of the game we had talked about some different artwork on that. We're really excited about just getting this game out there right now, and then we've got other ideas. We've got other ideas that we've kicked around,
Hmm.
but we need to see. We need to see something here with this one before we can really commit a lot more time, energy, and money, because
Sure.
that's building a game is a lot of work.
Yeah,
A lot of good competition out there.
yeah, it's for sure. When did this one officially come out?
Hmm. Mm,
No, official. Well, we started selling the first games in 2025.
yeah.
We
Okay, so
were, we had prototypes and stuff all the way up until then. We started with the tarot deck in 2024. That one we got out first, but yeah, the game started probably January when
Hmm.
it is
okay.
official.
Awesome. I knew it was new, but I wasn't sure how new it is. Are you guys going to be doing I know that you guys were at Origins. I don't know if you're at any before that. Do you have any other big conventions that are coming up that people could see you at?
We're going to try to get into PAX in
East?
Unplugged in Philadelphia. Yeah, PAX Unplugged.
Oh,
Um, that's our next hope. We've been there. We went there once before, kind of getting some play testing ideas, and got some really good feedback there. I wish we had some to sell at that point, but we didn't. So we're trying to get in there, and probably going to be at Baltimore Comic Con. Is another one that we're looking at. Some of those because we also want to sell some of this as artwork. Again, it is good artwork. So we're working on posters for these ones that people would like having on their walls.
mhm.
So that's another aspect we want to go to show. We feel like these principles are important. So
Okay. What's the best way for someone to get a copy of your game? Just through the website? Do you go through a
right now,
retail?
through the website is the best way. Working with some distributors to get them into stores, and that's what I'm hoping to have soon. But otherwise, the website is the best way.
Okay, I'll obviously link that in the description on the show here. And so, Jason, Joel, it's been a pleasure seeing you guys again and
Hmm.
talking about your game. And I mean, there's so many unique games out there, but I mean, this game is also unique. But I like that it's um, unique using like the old school tradition of tarot as
Hmm.
opposed to something like brand new. So that's really cool. So
Thank
uh,
you.
Thank you.
thanks a lot for joining me, and thank you for tuning in to Inside Board Games. We'll see you next time.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Take care.